Good morning, first grade. So, the first thing that we're going to do together today is to do a drawing of our story from last week. And if we remember what happened in the story. Tatanka and Otaki and their family were moving for the summer. And they were heading up north to their summer home to follow the delicious foods of summer and have lots to collect and eat. So we are going to draw the first day of their journey. And since they are going just in one direction, we are going to show just one path. So you can take your light brown, perhaps, and we're going to do a very light path today, just to know in which direction they're headed. So we're going to start at the bottom left and go to the top right, and just put a very light path, just to give you a guideline of where their family was going. Now, the very beginning of the journey was the very first problem that Otaki helped with. And she helped her family figure out what? How much food to pack. And they knew that it would take how many days? 7. And how many meals a day do we usually eat, not counting snacks? 3. So she counted how many meals that they would need for their whole journey. And tomorrow we will add our number sentences to show. And for that one, we will have 3 7s or 7 3s, whichever way you'd like to look at it. But we'll talk about that part tomorrow. Did you figure out how many meals they had? 21. 21. But for the beginning of their journey, I thought, how could we show that they were packing up all these meals? And I thought they could show them already packed. So you may have imagined how this family was traveling. So if you'd like, you may draw the way that they were traveling. Perhaps you were imagining they had a wagon with a cover over the top or something like that. I was imagining that they had a horse who was drawing behind it like 2 long poles that they could put all their belongings on, and then the horse pulls it along, almost like a sleigh, which means we're going to draw a horse today. And I'll do my very best, and we'll see if it looks like a horse. There are some of you I know who enjoy drawing horses and will have had some good practice with this. So put those skills to use. So I'm just going to draw rather a small horse over here. I'm going to draw his body. And horses have a nice long neck. And then his head, and for his head I'll use the baby bear side. And then 2 ears, and their horse is very alert. His ears are pointing forward. And then 2 legs in the front, and 2 legs behind. And then I'm going to show his tail, and a little bit of mane. So there is my horse. And it was quite hard to do with my block crayon. So if you'd like to use your brown stick crayon, you may. Since we're drawing some rather small details today, you may choose to use your stick crayons if you prefer. But then I need to show I'll call it a sleigh out behind, or a sledge, sometimes it's called. So I'll show a little something over the back of the horse, and then the long small sticks that drag along the ground. And then my bundle of food and belongings is going to be covered with a red cloth. Ooh. Here it is. I'm just imagining a big red cloth that's been tucked around those things in case it rains. And I drew just the stick that we can't see on the other side because it's on the other side of the horse. So now I have my horse and all of the food they will need for their journey. And then most of the things that Otaki was counting happened at the end of the day, at the end of their journey. So they travel, and then the next thing that she counts isn't until they're gathering wood for dinner. So we will add those details in so that we can show our number sentences for all the things that she figured out. However, after we're finished, I'll tell you some things that you might want to add as details, for she saw many things on her journey. And one of those things was the river. So I would like to draw the river on mine. And I'm going to draw it just crossing right over their path because they had to wade through the river. Then on the far side is where I'll start showing the things that she counted that day. And first I will show her sticks that she gathered to help make their cooking fire. And do you remember how many she gathered? She first gathered 2, and then Tatanka gathered how many? 5, and then she gathered how many more? 3 more. So you think about how many she gathered all together as I draw her sticks, and I'll show them in groups. So here are the first 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and those are the 5 Tatanka found, and here are 3 more. I made my sticks small and straight, but as we know, sticks come all kinds of crookedy shapes, so they can be however you might see sticks outside. Now on the other side, I'd like to show the next thing she helped with was figuring out how many tamales they get for dinner. So, if you've never had a tamale, they are delicious, sometimes meat or beans or cheese or something tasty, and it's wrapped in cornmeal and then steamed or baked inside of a corn husk. So the whole outside is wrapped in corn husks. So we need to show some corn husks. And how many did they have all together to share? 16. And then they shared it equally between their 4 family members. So how many did each person end up with? Did you say 4? Because that's correct. Now what I thought I would do is show her 4 tamales on her plate. So I'm going to start with my golden yellow and show those 4 tamales. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're kind of piled up because she's going to unwrap them from the corn husks when it's dinner time. And then I would like to take my orange and add just a little color, almost like some stripes. If you've seen corn husks, you may have noticed that they have kind of a stripe pattern. So I'm just going to show a little bit of that pattern on those tasty tamales. And then I'm going to show the plate that they're on. And since it's rather small, I'm going to use my stick crayon so I can show the plate around the tamales. And I'll make a nice purple plate to make those tamales pop. Now, I hope you have been thinking about that last thing that Otaki helped figure out that day. She and her brother had some surprise dessert. And what was it? Strawberries. I can't wait till the strawberries come out. So, she got the number that was her age. And she was how old? 9. And how old was Tatanka? 7. So, if she got 9 strawberries and he got 7, but then that's not how many they ate, is it? We're going to show with our number sentences tomorrow how she shared in order to help him have an even number as her. This is an interesting question, and I'm curious if you sorted it out. But I decided to just show one of those big, juicy strawberries. So I'll use the baby bear side of my red crayon. And then I'm going to use my orange just a bit to help make it glow. As we know, when we add a second or a third color, it makes our colors richer and more three-dimensional. It looks like they're real. So there is my strawberry, but it's missing something, isn't it? That green top. Here are my little strawberry leaves. And then one more thing for a strawberry, the seeds. And this would be a good place to take your black or brown stick crayon and add some very small seeds. It's making me hungry. So I showed my strawberry, my tamales, the sticks, and their week's bundle of food. Now we have finished all the details that Otaki was counting on this journey. However, you may still have some space. So if you would like, you can add some of your own details. Now perhaps you would like to show here at the end their campfire or the stars that she looked up at night. Or perhaps here, where we have some extra space on the sides, you could show the hawk that was flying over the fields hunting over the prairies, or the antelope, one antelope or a whole herd that she saw running across the prairie. So lots of different options for our drawing today. Have fun, but don't fill it up too much or you won't have room for your number sentences. But this is a drawing that you may use your imagination and think about that story and add what you would like to. So, the last thing today that I would like us to do is to make something. Now, we are starting to study something new here in May. And this is our studies of nature. So this whole month we will be still practicing our writing and reading and our math. but we'll be also practicing our observation skills. What do you notice? What do you see? What can you pay attention to? And we'll talk and learn all about the things that we see in nature and about all the things that surround us. And we'll pay attention to those things and see what we can find out. But part of what we do when we observe things is we note them down. So we are going to make a book. Now, pretty soon, we will use our green morning lesson books that I sent home. And beginning tomorrow or the day after, we may start to work in those. However, I would also like a book just for noting some of your observations. And I'd like us to do it about once a day. So, we need some place to put it because we'll have other different work to put in our morning lesson book. So we're going to make a field journal that you take with you out into the field to write down what you see. Or sometimes you go out and you see things and then you come home and write those things down. And we're going to call it a nature journal. Now there's a couple different ways that you can make a book at home. And there are some of you that I've talked to about making books, and I know that you will have lots of ideas, those of you that we've talked about it. But if you're not sure how to make a book at home, I have an example to show you, and you can make yours just like mine if you don't have your own method. And I would say you would need at least 5 pieces of paper. And I would recommend that you choose white paper because we'll be doing some writing, but we might also make some drawings of things that you are seeing. So it's helpful to have white so that your colors show up. I used some pink paper, and that would work fine too. So I took 5 pieces of paper, and then I folded them. So here's my 5 pieces of paper, and I folded them all in half, like that. And then I had a hole punch. So if you have a hole punch, you can make a hole through your book. And you can see that I just took a little bit of yarn and put it through the hole, just like that, a little bow. So that is a good way to then keep all your pages together. So you can go from page to page to page and your book won't fall apart. Now, if you wanted to, you could also staple it, but sometimes staplers are hard to reach into the middle of a piece of paper because that's what you'd most likely have to do, is take your stapler, come in from the side to staple, but uh-oh, it won't reach to the middle. My stapler didn't reach to the middle. Perhaps you have one that would reach. So you'll have to ask your parents for some help with attaching your book and putting it together. Once you have put together your book, you may decorate the cover. I'd like you to put the title of our journal. It says My Nature Journal. And I'll have this written down so that you can copy it. And then at the bottom right-hand corner, just like our morning lesson books, you can put your name. And there I put Miss Link. And then you may add just a bit of decoration. I don't want us to cover up our title, but you can put some decoration around the title. Perhaps you'd like to put stars. Perhaps you'd like to put flowers. Perhaps you would like to draw an animal or a pattern of some sort. However you'd like to decorate it is fine, as long as I can see that it says My Nature Journal. And I think you will have a lot of fun making these books, and then we'll have some things to put inside, especially things that you're noticing. So I can't wait for us to start paying attention and writing down some things that we are noticing outside. But first step, make the journal. Have fun, and I will talk to you soon.